our business meeting for May 10th, 2023. Notice of this meeting has been duly advertised in compliance with the open public meeting law. Please be advised that this meeting is being audio recorded. Possible later playback. Everyone, please rise to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you to remain standing for a moment's silence for the people in Texas and the officer from Texas that was just laid to rest? Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Hess. Here. Councilman Lindenwold.
Here.
Councilman Morrissey.
Here.
Councilwoman Patton.
Here.
Councilwoman Smith. Here. Councilman Randolph.
Present.
Mayor.
Here. Approval of minutes of council meeting executive session for April 12, 2023. Entertain a motion, please.
I make a motion for the approval of minutes.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Hess. Abstain. Councilman Lindenwold.
Yes.
Councilman Morrissey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith. Yes. President Randolph.
Yes.
Entertain a motion for payment of bills, please.
I make a motion that the bills have been properly audited and signed. We approve the payment.
And a second, please.
Second.
Questions? Roll call.
Councilwoman Hess. Yes. Councilman Lindenwold.
Yes.
Councilman Morrissey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith. Yes. President Randolph.
Yes.
The following reports in this file that are available in their respective offices for review will be included in the minutes. The tax collector's report, the sewer report, and the treasurer's report. Next up, resolution 2023-113. Motion.
Whereas the Borough of Lindenwold has identified a need to fulfill the position of sergeant in the Lindenwold Police Department, and whereas civil service guidelines have been completed, and whereas it is the procedure of the Borough of Lindenwold to promote employees by resolution, and whereas Mayor and Council has accepted the recommendation to appoint Officer Kyle Keating to the position of Police Sergeant, therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Lindenwold that Officer Kyle Keating be promoted to the position of Police Sergeant.
Entertain a motion, please.
Make a motion for resolution 2023-113, promotion of Kyle Keating.
And a second, please.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Hess. Yes. Councilman Lindenwold.
Yes.
Councilman Morrissey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Smith. Yes. President Randolph.
Yes.
With that, we'll have the skirming.
Come on.
I state your name.
I, Kyle Keating,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and the government established
and the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people,
And I do further solemnly swear
and I do firmly solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
Office of Police Sergeant
Officer of Police Sergeant
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
For the pinning of the badge, we have retired officer Ethan Rivera. Pin the badge on. You know,
Wear your glasses then.
Yes, Officer of the Year Award, I have Matt Krug from the local Knights of Columbus chapter, presenting the Officer of the Year Award to Detective Jesus Benitez.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. As Chief McCarthy said, I'm Matthew Krug. I'm the Grand Knight for Nativity Council, 2976, right here in Lindenwold, right across from the Lars Park. And we look to recognize an officer every year. This year, we're recognizing Detective Jesus Benitez for his outstanding service, not only to the police department, but to the community of Lindenwold. Not only for what he does for the community, but also for the Hispanic community also, in trying to close gaps that are there. It's very important, especially with our work in the Knights of Columbus and with the parish of Our Lady of Guadalupe there. So we very much appreciate what you've done.
I just want to thank the Knights of Columbus for all the service you guys provide to the community. I know what you guys do, and it's very well appreciated. Thank you.
It goes both ways. You know, out of our Knights of Columbus home, we also sponsor a Boy Scout troop and a Girl Scout troop. The Girl Scouts meet on Friday evenings. My wife happens to be the assistant leader to them, and my daughter's in the troop. But they come home and tell me, hey, the cops stopped by. They said it was a disturbance there. But the police got out, they interacted with the scouts, and it was a great thing. And a great impression on the girls to hopefully lead them as they grow. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we're going to do a presentation. So, bear with us for a second.
Yes. So we kind of put the chief on the spot just now, but Bonnie?
Oh, no.
Speak to you, please. Bonnie, report to the office. Bonnie, report to the office.
Oh, yeah. All right, so what do you think?
Stand right here, yes, stand right here. So tonight we're doing a presentation for Bonnie. Bonnie has been with us for 32 years as a police record manager. I know I'm going to miss your smile, and she's got the best smile ever, and just so professional. But I thought it would be apropos for the chief to speak about the lawsuit that's going to be put in. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you
I'll
so
be back.
much.
So Bonnie, for many years, really the guiding force. She keeps us on track. Many chiefs she served, from Henry, my father, Mansky, Brennan, and myself. And we call her an assistant chief because she keeps us on task. So we appreciate everything she does. We're going to miss her greatly, I can tell you that much. Big shoes to fill. She's doing a great job training her replacement. But it's definitely going to be hard to replace all that she does for not only our police department, but our community. She's going above and beyond all the time. And she's an example of what a public servant should be.
Thank you so
Yes.
much. Thank you.
Yes, women power, I like that too. All right, well, this is a very small token of our appreciation. So we have the mayor and council. We'd like to present Bonnie with this token of our appreciation for your 32 years of service. You started in 1991. And so I just I just wish her well, her family well, that you have a blessed life, enjoy your grandchildren, and just be the best you can be.
Thank you so
Okay?
much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And if I could just say thank you to Mayor and Council for not only this, but always supporting the men and women in blue over there. So I appreciate you, and it's been an honor, a true honor to work here this many years. And I feel like I'm leaving you in good hands with CJ and Lisa and Rosa. So, we're in good hands. Okay. board, I could tell you a story too.
Yes. Why not? This is your time.
All right. Well, back in 1968, my mother started working at the Lindenwold Police Department in the records department. And so I grew up with all of the policemen, the old timers. And I remember filing for the first chief, Chief O'Keefe, and he paid me $1 and he said, you make sure you tell everybody I was your first boss.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then, I did some part-time work when one of the other clerks was out under Ray Wilson. And then I really came to the police department, full-time. Frank McHenry and your dad and everybody that followed. And without their knowledge, I wouldn't have been who I became. So I appreciate Lindenwold.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
If I could, I just want to say, again, thank you for everything. We appreciate Mayor Council's support. We have a good working relationship here, and it makes all the difference, not for the police department, not only for the police department, but the community at large. So I say it all the time, we really appreciate that relationship we have with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Next up, second reading, ordinance 2023-06. You want to take 5 minutes for that?
Yeah.
I'm going to take 5 minutes so you guys can take this if you want.
We're gonna do it.
Are you going to do it?
Yeah, it's loud. When they're up here, let's
You will still take time.
The girls with dogs to come and some more guys. That's 3 or 4 of us, that's it.
Any questions or comments in regards to ordinance 2023-06?
Is there a meeting on?
Seeing none, close the meeting to the public and entertain a motion, please.
Make a motion for second reading ordinance 2023-6, amending chapter 184, hunting and firearms to be adopted on second reading and published according to law.
And second, please.
Second.
Questions? Roll call.
Councilwoman Hess. Yes. Councilman Adamowski.
Yes.
Councilman Morrissey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Simmons. Yes. President Belcher.
Yes.
Second reading ordinance 2023-07, amend chapter 240, property maintenance code, article 4, enforcement. Open the meeting to the public for any questions or comments regarding ordinance 2023-07. Seeing none, close the meeting to the public and entertain a motion, please.
Make a motion for second reading of ordinance 2023-07, amending chapter 240, property maintenance code, article 4, be adopted on second reading and published according to law.
And second, please.
Second.
Questions? Roll call.
Councilwoman Hess. Yes. Councilman Adamowski.
Yes.
Councilman Morrissey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Simmons. Yes. President Belcher.
Yes.
Second reading ordinance 2023-08, flood damage prevention. Open meeting to the public for any questions or comments regarding ordinance 2023-08, flood prevention. Seeing none, close the meeting to the public and entertain a motion, please.
Make a motion for second reading ordinance 2023-08, flood damage prevention, be adopted on second reading and published according to law.
And second, please.
Second.
Questions? Roll call.
Councilwoman Hess. Yes. Councilman Adamowski.
Yes.
Councilman Morrissey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Simmons. Yes. President Belcher.
Yes.
First reading ordinance 2023-09, amend chapter 250 for property maintenance. Entertain a motion, please.
Make a motion for first reading ordinance 2023-09, amending chapter 250 property maintenance, be adopted as read on first reading, published according to law, posted in the Borough Hall, with the second reading being held at our next regularly scheduled meeting.
And second, please.
Second.
Questions? Roll call.
Councilwoman Hess. Yes. Councilman Adamowski.
Yes.
Councilman Morrissey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Simmons. Yes. President Belcher.
Yes.
First reading ordinance 2023-10, non-contractual salary ordinance by title. Entertained a motion, please.
Make a motion for first reading ordinance 2023-10, non-contractual salary ordinance by title, be adopted as read on first reading, published according to law, posted in the Borough Hall, with the second reading being held at our next regular scheduled meeting.
And a second, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Hess? Yes. Councilman Lankowski?
Yes.
Councilman Marcy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Simmons? Yes. Vice Mayor Bellshaw?
Yes.
Resolution 2023-114, read the budget by title. Entertained a motion, please.
Motion for 14, sorry, reading of the budget.
And at this time, I'm sorry.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Hess? Yes. Councilman Lankowski?
Yes.
Councilman Marcy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Simmons? Yes. Vice Mayor Bellshaw?
Yes.
And at this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our Borough Administrator and our PRO to read the public hearing for the 2023 budget.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our 2023 municipal budget public hearing. Some of you have heard this presentation in the past, and for some of you it will be new. So I do have a few charts and graphs and things like that. So we'll get started, and I will try not to bore you and spend a whole lot of time this evening. State law requires that every municipality hold a public hearing on the municipal budget prior to adoption by the governing body. The public hearing provides pertinent information regarding the borough's financial operating plan, which outlines the anticipated revenues and allocation of resources to various expenditures. The budget presentation will include 2022 financial highlights, the 2023 municipal budget at a glance for the general fund, as well as the sewer utility fund, and an overview of capital and American Rescue Plan funded projects, as well as future budget strategies. Our 2022 financial highlights. As you can see, our 2022 total collections was a little over $33 million. The allocation of the 2022 tax collections is broken down by the municipal tax levy, the school district tax, the fire district tax, as well as the county taxes. And you can see in the blue, as well as the reddish colors, which would represent the school district at the 41% and the municipal tax piece at 39%. Our tax collection rate for 2022 was 96.98%, which was down a little bit from our 2022 tax collection rate. Our cash surplus increased by 29.1% from 2021. Continuing with our financial highlights for the general account. The allocation of county taxes. So if you go back to this chart, you will see that the county taxes was $5.4 million. What makes up the county tax, as you can see, is our general county, our county library, our county open space, as well as the added and omitted taxes. And the bulk of that is the general county. Continuing. Our unappropriated revenue that was received in 2022, and what that means is that we received those funds, however, we were not able to use them in 2022 because they were not appropriated within the budget. We had no authorization to use them in 2022, so they will appear in our 2023 budget once I get to that. We received our second tranche of American Rescue Plan funding, which is $903,446. We received municipal aid relief, national opioid settlement proceeds, community development block grant funding for Amen and Bilper. Last year indicated that it was anticipated funding, but we did actually receive the funding for those two avenues. We also received a fiscal year 2022 COPS, New Jersey LEA de-escalation grant. Again, these will be appropriated in our 2023 budget. Moving to our sewer utility. Our 2022 total sewer fee collections was a little over 1.6 million, which was up 8.3% from 2021. Our sewer utility is self-liquidated, and that's funded by user fees. So what that means is that we collected enough of the user fees to cover all the expenses for our sewer utility. Our cash surplus for the sewer utility was 16.5% from 2021. Moving to our 2023 budget at a glance. For the general fund, our 2023 anticipated revenues and appropriations are $19.4 million. So your revenues and your appropriations have to agree. We anticipated $4.6 million of the surplus, which is up 25.1% from the prior year. That $4.6 million is to help to support the general fund operations. Our state aid increased slightly from $2,075,000 to $2,089,000. So we did get a slight increase. For the past so many years, we remained the same. We increased the rateables of $16.1 million, and that was attributed to tax appeal settlements, as well as commercial property and residential improvements. Our salary and wage budget increased by 5.75%. The attributing factors include contractual increases for the police and the DPW, as well as sewer, anticipated contractual settlements for our clerks, and incremental increases for non-contractual employees. Our other expenses and statutory expenses increased by 7.7%. The attributing factors, new vehicle leasing costs for our police and our public works department, as well as estimated increased costs for recycling of $120 per ton, and that's under the Camden County Co-op. Continue with our budget at a glance. Our pension obligations were up 6.8%, and that is combined between our public employee retirement system as well as our police and fire retirement system. There was an increase of over 20% in the New Jersey State Health Benefits cost. There was a 25% rate increase for animal shelter fees. Our deferred charge increase was $280,000, and that was attributed to a 2022 emergency authorization for an interim foreclosure project required to be raised in the 2023 budget. Whenever we have emergency authorizations, they are to be raised in the subsequent budget year. So although we did that emergency in 2022, we have to raise it in this year's budget. Our debt service, we had a decrease in our Green Trust loan program as a result of loan maturity in April of 2023. So we made our final payment last month for our Green Trust loan program, and those are the funds that we used to fund the Memorial Park that we have, our beautiful park. So we made our last payment. And the interest on our bonds, the decrease is a result of our 2012 serial bonds that are also soon maturing. So based on a $19.4 million proposed budget for 2023, the 2% levy cap has been met. Our local projected tax rate of 1.714 equates to a tax increase of 2 cents. Our 2023 budget summary of information. As you can see, our total assessed valuation, which we call our rateables, was $630 million in 2023 versus $613.9 in 2022. So our total assessed valuation of rateables increased by $16 million, which is about 2.63%. Our total local municipal tax for 2023 is $10,797,000, and in 2022 it was $10,398,000. So as you can see, we did have an increase, and our percent change is 3.84%. So again, our municipal tax rate for 2023 is 1.714. And for 2022, it was 1.694. So for those of you who were here last year, you heard this presentation, it was just the reverse last year. We were a 2-cent decrease. So this year is the 2%, and that is a change of 1.18%. And just so you can see, our total budget, our total revenues, and our total appropriations tied. So when you look at the tax rate effect, if your home was assessed at $130,000 based on this year's 2-cent tax increase as compared to 2022, you would have a $25.40 increase on the municipal tax. So we're talking just the municipal tax piece. There are other components of your tax rate, but this particular piece is just for the municipal. So when you look at your tax bill, it's broken down into other components, but this is just the municipal piece of it. For the general fund, for our anticipated revenues, as you can see, our 5-year trend from 2019 to 2023, it breaks down all of our anticipated revenues, which includes our surplus, our municipal local revenues, state aid revenues, uniform construction code fees, other special items, receipts from delinquent taxes, as well as the amount to be raised, which is the municipal tax fees. And in total, that's $19.4 million. Now, as far as the chart is concerned, just to give it to you in a perspective of the chart, you can see that 55.5% is the amount to be raised, and that's the municipal tax piece. The 23.5% represents the surplus anticipated, and that's the piece that came from our surplus. That's the amount that we are anticipating in our 2023 budget in order to help support our general funds. Just to give you a perspective of our tax collection rate over the last 8 years. So for 2022, we were at 96.8%, which I indicated we're down from 2021. So in the years that you had a lower tax collection rate, your reserve for uncollected taxes is higher. And the reserve for uncollected taxes is the portion of taxes that we don't collect. So I call it a buffer. So if we were at 100% tax collection rate, we wouldn't have a reserve for uncollected taxes. So in this particular year, 2022, we used that in order to calculate the reserve for our 2023 budget. So it was a little higher this year versus last year because the tax collection rate was higher in 2021 versus 2022. Our general fund budget appropriations from 2019 to 2023. As you can see, it's broken down, our total appropriations are broken down into general operations, deferred charges, capital improvements, municipal debt service, shared service agreements, other operations, grants offset by revenues, and reserve for uncollected taxes. And you can see, in 2022, our reserve was lower than what it is in 2023 because our tax collection rate was lower in 2022 in order for us to calculate the reserve in 2023. Allocation of the 2023 general budget appropriations. So as you can see, our total operations consists of the general operations. And what that is broken up into is salary and wages, other expenses, statutory expenditures, insurance, and utilities. Our pension costs. As you can see with our pension costs, our 2023, and for some reason, the years are listed, but 1.7 million represents 2023. And again, that is the combined cost for public employees retirement system, as well as our police and fire. And there's a small portion that is considered the defined contribution retirement plan, or DCRP. Our health insurance expense, 5-year trend. As you can see, there was a significant increase from 2022 to 2023, and that's because our New Jersey State Health Benefits, our insurance premiums, increased by over 20%. Our sewer utility budget at a glance. We utilized $135,000 of surplus to support the sewer utility operations. There were no significant budget increases for either the salary and wages or the other expenses. Our sewer utility anticipated revenues, 5-year trend, consists of surplus anticipated, rents, and miscellaneous. The total revenues for our sewer utility is $1.5 million. And as you can see, based on the chart, the rents, or what you call your user fees, is the largest part that makes up our anticipated revenues. Our sewer utility budget appropriations consist of salary and wages, other expenses, debt service, and statutory expenditures. The other expenses is the bulk of our budget appropriations. Moving to our 2023 proposed capital budgets. For general capital, our road reconstruction improvements consist of repaving of Amon and Bilfer Avenues, and that is from community development block grant funding, and the reconstruction of Carter Avenue. NJDOT anticipated funding, so that's the New Jersey Department of Transportation, so we will be applying for funds to reconstruct Carter Avenue. 2022 ARP funded projects. So our first tranche was $903,000. The completed projects with those funds include upgrades to pump station number 6, the installation of LED signs at the library and the police department, our municipal management software, Spatial Data Logics, and that's to provide visibility across departments, streamline workflow for the staff, and enable self-service access for our residents. We're still working on trying to get it out on our website so that the public will have access. We're still testing everything in-house, so hopefully within the next few months or so, we will be launching that, so stay tuned. And the installation of our dog park. Projects that are in progress with that first tranche of funds is the expansion of our municipal building parking lot, the reconstruction of various roads on Wallace Avenue, the installation of our HVAC management system in our police department, and we will have additional enhancements to the dog park. Our second tranche of funds for our 2023 ARP funded projects include for sewer capital, upgrades to pump station number 8. For general capital, the paving and resurfacing of the police department parking lots, traffic light installation at US Avenue and Route 30. That is a 25% cost share with the New Jersey Department of Transportation. Basketball court resurfacing, installation of solar-powered speed monitor radar signs, and roof repairs for the file storage building, the ambulance building, and the Field House Memorial Park. Budget strategies looking ahead. Remain fiscally responsible and continue to manage surplus and debt levels to improve long-term financial stability and stabilization of property tax rates. Seek operating efficiencies where possible and to take advantage of opportunities to apply for grants and other sources to minimize the tax burden on residents. Leverage information technology to improve service quality, effectiveness, efficiency, and communications to our residents, and to provide an ongoing commitment to community. I hope I didn't bore you too much. Had I gone through the budget in its entirety, we'd be here all night. So that was just a synopsis. I wanted to give you some of the 2022 financial highlights as well as the 2023 budget at a glance. So this completes the public hearing. If there are any questions, feel free to ask. I will do my best to answer them this evening. If I'm unable to answer them tonight, I will get back to you because all of the detail for the budget is in my office.
If I followed you correctly, on the American, I think it's
Rescue Plan, ARP funds.
Right. You said it's in place, it's holding, what is it?
Okay, so the first tranche, or first allotment of funds, they call it tranche, but the first allotment of funds, I'll go back to that slide. Those are the projects. We completed the ones that MK completed, which was dealing with the upgrades of the pump station, LED sign for the library and police department, as well as the installation of the dog park. The remaining funds is for the expansion of the municipal building parking lot, reconstruction of various roads. The one that we're looking at right now is Wallace Avenue, and the installation of ABC management system for our police department, and then additional enhancements to the dog park. Now, the new funds, which have been appropriated in this budget, will include the following projects, which will be the upgrade to pump station number 8. We did pump station number 6 with the first allotment of funds, and then the remaining will be for these general capital projects, which includes the paving and resurfacing of the police department, parking lot, the traffic light installation. We have a lot of issues with that particular traffic light. So we appealed to the state to see whether or not they could assist with that particular project. So that represents the 25% cost share, and we're going to use the ARP funds for that. The basketball court resurfacing, installation of those speed monitors, radar signs, and then the roof repairs.
One other question, I don't know if it applies to that section or whether it should go down to open to the public. But within the budget here, are there any funds allocated for seniors with rent, rate of rent that's going up? I mean, I noticed that affordable care, I mean, is there anything in the budget here that covers the rent? Because I'm over in Lindenwold at the landing, and my rent just went up $386. That's not me. But I'm just asking, are there any appropriations for these type of increases?
Not within our municipal budget.
Okay, and so there's no capping, there's no anything with reference to a person's income, nothing like that within this?
Not within our municipal budget. There may be other resources.
Beg pardon?
There's state programs, I think there's also a county program, but you have to reach out to them.
Okay, I'm just asking. Because
The housing, she lives in an open market housing, you know, the development that you live in, but there are some other housing areas that you can move in that would go by your rent. It would be like 30% of your income.
Okay.
If you need that information, we can meet with you afterwards and we can do something next.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Hi, my name is Sarah Bellman. I live in 1201 Creek Road. So a couple questions, a couple comments first. I'm really excited to see that we're pursuing grants to help supplement the municipal budget. I appreciated the pie charts and the breakdown. We'll come back to this. I'm a little curious about what the $3.2 million in other expenses is. But what I'm really interested in are these developments that are happening, these improvements to roads and traffic calming elements. So like, we're all aware that I live on Laurel Road and there are multiple incidents a week of either collisions or near collisions. It's right by School 5. There are a number of school bus pickups along this road, and we have been bounced. Me and a group of other residents have been bounced between the municipality and the county relentlessly, saying it's not our responsibility. I was told to request the traffic reports from Lindenwold and from the county. Both bodies say they do not have those records. The mayor himself said the last traffic study was done when they installed the partial sidewalk on Laurel Road. The records department said no study was done at that time. I just want to know, how do we get to this point where improvements are being made, number one, and number two, where are the solar powered speed monitor radar signs going to be placed?
Well, I know there's going to be about 3 or 4 of them, and they're going to be placed in strategic areas within the borough. So I'm not sure exactly.
The one for mainly right at your home.
That's a start. I appreciate that. So what are we going to do with that information? Are we going to take the information from the radar signs and utilize it to make?
This is not a speed radar sign that says speed radar. This is one that if you have to cross the street, hits it, lights up, stops the traffic, everything.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, that's good to know. Thank you.
Any other questions with regards to the budget? So this is specifically for the budget. All the other questions you may have for the governing body, you can do that at a later time, but this is specifically for the budget. And if there are, again, any questions that you think of after this presentation, please feel free to contact me. Again, I'm Dawn Thompson. I'm the Business Administrator, Chief Financial Officer, and I'll be more than happy to go in detail. And Ms. Bellmer, if you want to know exactly what makes up that 3.2, I have it to the penny.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to go over that with you. Okay? So with that, I'm sorry.
I have a thank you.
All right, well, I'm just going to end the public hearing, okay? So with that, Mayor and Council, this completes the public hearing for our 2023 municipal budget.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for all your hard work that you did on this one. You put so much effort into these presentations and budget as well. And I also want to thank council for the hard work that you did coming up, what we came up with, and keep it as well as possible. So thank you very much. All right, with that, first reading ordinance 2023-11, appropriation ordinance for acquisition of capital equipment and projects. I'm sorry. Resolution 2023-115 adopted 2023 budget. Entertain motion, please.
Make a motion for resolution 2023-115, adopting the 2023 budget.
And a second, please.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Hess.
Yes.
Councilman Mankowski.
Yes.
Councilman Morrissey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Simmons. Yes. President Randolph Sharp.
Yes.
Now, first reading ordinance 2023-11, appropriation ordinance for acquisition of capital equipment projects.
Make a motion for first reading of ordinance 2023-11, appropriation ordinance for acquisition for capital equipments and projects. Be adopted on first reading, published according to law, posted in the Borough Hall, with the second reading being held at our next regular scheduled meeting.
And second, please.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Councilwoman Hess.
Yes.
Councilman Mankowski.
Yes.
Councilman Morrissey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Simmons. Yes. President Randolph Sharp.
Yes.
Next, first reading ordinance 2023-13, amend chapter 238, article 3, vacant property, and chapter 150-49, foreclosure vacant property registration.
Ms. 12. That was at the top. Yeah.
Oh,
At the top, yeah.
These are so close together. Anyway, first reading ordinance 2023-12, appropriation ordinance for completion of sewer utility projects.
Make a motion for first reading on ordinance 23-12, appropriation ordinance for completion of the sewer utility improvement project. Be read and be adopted on first reading, published according to law, posted in the Borough Hall, with the second reading being held at our next regular scheduled meeting.
And second, please.
Second.
Questions? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Hess.
Yes.
Councilman Mankowski.
Yes.
Councilman Morrissey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Simmons. Yes. President Randolph Sharp.
Yes.
First reading ordinance 2023, amend chapter 238, article 3, vacant property, and chapter 150-49, foreclosure and vacant property registration.
I make a motion for first reading of 2023-13, amending chapter 238, article 3, vacant property, and chapter 150-49, foreclosed and vacant property registration. Be adopted on first reading, published according to law, posted in the Borough Hall, with the second reading being held at our next regular scheduled meeting.
Next, first reading ordinance 2023-14, title 39, for timber creek chapter. Oh, sorry. It's a long day.
Yeah.
It's been a very long day. Okay, and a motion and a second, please.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Hess.
Yes.
Councilman Mankowski.
Yes.
Councilman Morrissey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Simmons. Yes. President Randolph Sharp.
Yes.
I'm sorry for a part-time mayor, I think it's called out. First reading, ordinance 2023, title 39 for Timber Creek, chapter 345.
Make a motion for first reading ordinance 2023-14, titled 39, Timber Creek, chapter 345, be adopted as read on first reading, published according to law, posted in the Borough Hall, with the second reading being held at our next regular scheduled meeting.
And a second, please.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Hess.
Yes.
Councilman Mankowski.
Yes.
Councilman Morrissey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Simmons. Yes. President Randolph Sharp.
Yes.
And consent agenda. The items listed below are considered routine by the Borough of Lindenwold and will be enacted upon in one motion. There will be no formal discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Entertain a motion for resolution 23-116 to 125.
Make a motion for consent agenda items 2023-116 through 125.
Have a second, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Harris. Yes. Councilman Lankowski.
Yes.
Councilman Morrissey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sinnet.
That's the all resolution 2023-126.
President Randolph.
Yes.
Next, resolution 2023-126, award municipal building parking lot improvements. Entertain a motion, please.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Question. Roll call.
Councilwoman Harris. Yes. Councilman Lankowski.
Yes.
Councilman Morrissey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sinnet. Yes. President Randolph.
Yes.
And we have one add-on, 2023-127.
Authorizing the hire of Christopher Riga as a public works part-time labor employee.
And a second, motion, please.
Make a motion for the hiring of Christopher Greger into the Public Works Department.
And a second, please.
Second.
Questions? Roll call.
Councilwoman Harris. Yes. Councilman Lankowski.
Yes.
Councilman Morrissey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Patton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sinnet. Yes. President Randolph.
Yes.
Engineers report. How are you, sir?
Doing well.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. For tonight, that is the follow-up. We will be following up with you about all the capital improvement projects listed, including
The air is a little bit closer, yeah.
You can pick it up again.
Okay. I'll speak a little bit louder. We'll be following up with you about more capital improvement projects, including the DOT funded project for 2023 fiscal year. So, in terms of projects that we have going on right now, the municipal building parking lot, that is the one tonight. For Colonial Square Drive and Colonial Square Place, the 2022 municipal funded project, that is in process now. We're working on it and have a survey complete. So for the CDBG project for Union and Milford, we also have a survey complete and are continuing to put together its applications. So we are in construction of Lincoln Town Phase 2, which I will be applying to order, which is approved, so we'll be closing that out and moving that into the maintenance town phase. I guess I should mention that for the traffic signal analysis for the White Horse Pike and United States Avenue, we have been continuing to follow up with the DOT, and we'll provide you with any updates as we receive.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. At this time, we're going to open to council. Councilman Morrison.
Okay, the fire department had 61 responses the last period. Fire marshals completed 28 inspections and 7 re-inspections. And they still have some remaining smoke alarms available. Just a reminder that any homeowner who has a non-functioning smoke alarm or needs a smoke alarm, you give them a call, they will come out and install it. It has a 10-year sealed battery on it, so you don't have to change the battery every year. You only have to call the fire marshal's office at 856-346-0935 to set up an appointment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll start off with Lindenwold Police Department. Total call service, 1,679. Traffic accidents, 46. Community policing, 106. Traffic enforcement and stops, 96. Criminal complaints issued by officers, 24. Traffic summons issued by officers, 24. Criminal complaints issued by citizens, 10. Traffic summons issued by citizens, 0. Detective Bureau Investigations, 43. Submitted by Chief McCarthy. Public Works, tons of trash collected, 670. Tons of recycling collected, 77.47. Bulk items collected, 264. Scrap metal picked up, 64. Concrete picked up, 10. Stumps and logs picked up, 2. No injuries. Service calls, 33. Stoppages, 9. Main stoppages, 2. Emergency calls, 9. Markouts, 20. Pump station repairs, 5. Troubled areas jetted, 30. Pump station factored, 1. For Laurel Springs, 1 service call, 1 stoppage, 1 emergency call. That's all that I have. Thank you.
All right, my first report will be First report will be from the Code Enforcement Office. We had 98 CO inspections, 13 smoke inspections, 191 violations found, 118 violations written, 83 abatements, 2 tickets written, 2 court tickets that were held during a Zoom court, and 0 court in person, 1 plea by mail, which resulted in a collection and a fine without going to court, 110 yearly rental registration inspections, 31 rental re-inspections, 3 vehicles tagged and removed by others. I guess they were reported and Wayne towed them. 0 illegal clothing bin tagged and removed, 1 trailer tagged and removed, 7 foreclosure inspections, 0 sites found, work being done without permits, 0 businesses found open that never applied for mercantile, 0 businesses open with no approval, 0 dumpsters on the street with no approval, 40 street openings, sidewalks, curbs, and aprons, 62 resident communication. So once again, the office is very busy. We are moving along with our SDL. I see that we're now with the iPads out on the street. I mean, hopefully the goal will be that they'll be able to print violations while they're out doing the inspections, and it will save them a trip from having to come back to the office and put them in the mail. So we're still working on that portion of things. The newsletter will be going out soon. I am the holdup right now. She is waiting for an article from me, which I plan on finishing when I go home tonight and send it over. So that you will be seeing that very soon with all of our summer activities and things in them. Doing once again, I'd like to thank you for the extreme amount of work that goes into preparing for this budget hearing. Along with this, she's also in the midst of her annual audit, municipal audit, and so there's a lot of information that the auditors are looking for and answers from her and things. So she puts it into a nice little neat package for you guys to see with cute pie charts and all of that stuff. But there's a lot of hard work and good record keeping that goes into doing that. So I want to thank you and your staff for the tremendous job that you do. And also I'd like to thank our code enforcement officer, our tax collector officers, our municipal clerk, everyone that's involved in collection of fees. This is how this budget happens. Our taxpayers who pay their taxes on time to 96.9% of people who have paid their taxes and their responsibility. All of this goes into our budget and allows us to operate very healthy. So I thank everyone, the entire staff for that. Lastly, I wanted to say something about Mother's Day. And I wanted to wish all our moms, our aunties, our dads sometime too, our grandmothers, our neighbors, anyone who stands in the gap in a child's life. We all mother and nurture children in our own way. I lost my mother when I was very young. I was 15, she died during childbirth. So Mother's Day has always been very special to me. And I always admire people who still have their mother, and I don't care how big of a pain in the, you know what your mom is. She's here to be a pain. So be thankful of that, be grateful of that. And for those of our mothers that have gone on to greater things, you know, I'm thankful that she was in my life, and I feel blessed to have had a mother. And I'm also blessed to have women who have stood in the gap of my mother, and one of them is my Aunt Betty. So happy Mother's Day, Aunt Betty. I love you. And thank you for all you do for the family. I appreciate that. So please just remember our moms, whether they're here or not. Remember the mothers who don't have children, because that's a thing too. Some mothers have lost their children, and they don't have anyone to recognize them or give them a hug or say that they're special. So if you know one of those ladies or men or whomever it is, and they have lost their child, it's a good time to reach out to them too and just let them know that they're remembered. So thank you. Happy Mother's Day.
Just a discussion, as you touched on, also, to help our tax collection.
Oh, we're back on the tax collection.
Yeah, well,
You back on the buggy.
Back on the tax collection rate.
Yes.
What we're doing now with the vacant properties, the foreclosed properties, we're taking them out of the system so they will help to raise our tax collection.
So, okay, so, well, you guys, we'll talk about that, right? You know, okay. All right, wait,
I'm sorry.
do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Also, I'd like to thank Dawn. I've seen a lot of budget presentations, and she does it among the best to make it in layman's terms and understandable, so you can follow everything. She does a great job, and so does her office. At the high school, this week is Teachers Appreciation Week. Tomorrow, May 11th, at 6:30 p.m. is College Decision Day at the school. Big day over there. Also, the Life Choice Awards are at 7 p.m. The NEHS at the Lindenwold High School is May 20th, and the Cappy Awards at Eastern High School on May 23rd. The spring concert at school number 5 is at 7 p.m. at Lindenwold High School. May 25th, school number 4 will be having their spring concert at 6:30 at Lindenwold High School. May 26th at 7 p.m. at Lindenwold High School will bring their spring concert. May 31st, Lindenwold High School Arts in the Park at 6 p.m. June 2nd, the thespian induction at the high school. June 13th, there is no time for that. June 13th, Lindenwold High School Athletic Awards are at 6:30 p.m. June 14th, Lindenwold High School Senior Night at 6:30 p.m. June 15th is the District Juneteenth event. There was no times listed for that yet. June 21st is high school graduation at 6 p.m. Also, our preschool is part of the Transformation Leadership Participant Program, which is a big deal. And we've all seen on TV about all the big fuss about asbestos, especially in the Philadelphia schools and everything. So, I'm happy to report that Savick Construction Corporation have been awarded the bid for the middle school cafeteria floor asbestos removal project at a cost of $49,000. Now, as the board remember, we're staying on top of these things. That stuff's not, it's happening over the bridge, it's not happening here. But, our children are safe, okay? And also, one I mentioned about the National Opioid Settlement, that money is only going to be used on education and prevention. So, we've contacted the schools, and we're waiting for them to get back to us in ways we can use that money. Okay, thank you, Mayor.
And Walter, what day was the graduation? Was it the 16th or the 23rd? 23rd. 21st? Yeah. 21st, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First with the Lindenwold Library report from April. Books, DVDs circulated that month was 162. Computer usage 108. Patrons total 3,474. Library materials 13,363. New members, adults 10, children 15. So 15 new members this month. Easter craft in person was April 6th. The children made an Easter wreath and an ornament. The library spring cleanup was April 15th. High school students and library members enhanced the library's butterfly garden and cleaned up the grounds. There's Mother's Day craft is May 11th. Children will be making a live potted flower and plant, card and gift tag for their mom for Mother's Day. 2023 summer reading program. 2023 theme, all together now, kindness, friendship, unity. July and August, reading challenges, crafts, snacks, contests, activities, etc. Bird, Peter Craft, kindness drops, etc. And financial disclosures have been completed. Please, once again, please visit your local library. As far as with our historic committee, one of our neighbors, Mr. Ron Burroughs, granted me the honor of reading a piece about his mother, Marie Burroughs, and I was directed to read an excerpt from one of Love Lindenwold's pages, writing, actually.
And born in 1928 and raised nearby in Glendora, Marie and her husband, Hudson, brought their first and only home on First Avenue in Lindenwold. Soon after, they were married at the conclusion of World War II. Marie involved herself in the community right away, working as a secretary at Lower Camden County Regional High School, Overbrook. As her family grew, she pivoted, working from home as Lindenwold's Director of Welfare. There were no town hall offices in those days, even when the police chief worked out of his kitchen. Marie was often called to help arrange for emergency funds for a family in need or to assist with other social needs in the community. She loved watching Lindenwold grow and was very happy when her streets was first paved in the early 1960s. However, Marie would later return to her secretary job at Overbrook, retiring from that role in 1988. However, retirement didn't last long. She became involved in Lindenwold Democrat Club and was later appointed to council, where she served faithfully for 10 years until she passed away at 78 in 2006. And today, Marie is remembered by all who passed Burroughs Lane, named in her honor, and by 2 deserving Lindenwold High School students who receive scholarships in her name every year. And finally, as the public event, our next public event is our Memorial Day observance. That is Monday, May 29th at 9 a.m. We would ask the community to come out and join us to honor our heroes. Thank you.
I just wanted to add something about Marie Barrows. She was actually my running mate. We served together, and at the time, Marie and I were the only 2 women on city council. And she was one of the warmest, could be sternest, smartest ladies that you ever want to meet. I mean, Marie was a wealth of information. She didn't take no stuff, you know, and but she was just awesome to serve with and we were all here until she passed away. We did honor her with Borough Lane, and Pastor Foley and myself started the Marie Barrows Scholarship, which her family still runs to this day. And it's been, when did she pass away? What year? Okay, so since then, this scholarship has been turned over to the family, and they've continued. Just got an email from the granddaughter about two weeks ago saying that they had collected the money and was ready to go. But to know Marie was to love her, and it was an honor to serve with her. She was she's the reason why he's here. She's got a lot of generations and a lot of people that she involved into politics and just brought us along. So she's a great lady and a great family. So thank you for honoring her. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For senior citizens dance classes, there's classes that are going to teach our seniors to dance.
Sam, talking to the kid here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. For our senior citizens, there are senior citizen dance classes to teach structured and therapeutic dance to individuals. It's geared up to improve and maintain strength and flexibility. You must be a Camden County resident to participate. Classes are limited to 20 per event. You must register for this event to attend. Classes are going to be held at the Carroll Norcross Wellness Center in Blackwood and Pine Hill Congregate Nutrition Program from 12:30 to 1:30, and I have flyers with me if anybody would like one. On May 16th, Camden County Senior Services is having their monthly caregiver support group. This group is to help discuss with caregiver stress, legal services, respite programs, and more. The meeting will be held through Zoom from noon to 1. You have to register for this meeting also, and I do have flyers if anybody would like a flyer. And then for the health department, the CDC has Camden County listed as well. They're looking at COVID now more as a flu and treating it that way. They're going to stop the public health emergency on tomorrow, May 11th, and they're going to shift more towards putting COVID in like the routine public activities. They're going to collect data still. They're not going to report daily as they've been doing. Some hospitals, surgical centers, and health providers are no longer requiring you to wear a mask. So you have doctor's appointments on that if you need a mask or not. They may still require you to answer COVID questions though.
And one last thing I had was a story that I saw in the news a couple weeks ago with summer coming and more people being out. There was a woman who lost her child at the museum, and she remembered something she saw on TikTok. So instead of yelling for the child's name, Linda, where are you, Linda? And screaming like that way, instead she was yelling, girl missing, 5 years old, red shirt, blue pants, and she kept repeating that. And then she heard other parents behind her repeating that. And then another parent was like, oh, red shirt, blue pants. She's right, there's somebody, and they grabbed her and they said, yes, that is my child. And they're trying to say it's better to yell out what clothing they're wearing for people to spot that, because they're not going to really know the names, because, you know, they're strangers basically, but they were all willing to help, and they did find this child, and they were not able to remember. So with the summer coming and people being outside, it's just something to think of. And you can help a family also if they lost their child in the open public and stuff. So just look out for everyone. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
I just want to take this opportunity to thank the governing body. I know that they thank me, but I'm really just doing my job. I want to thank them for their support, but more importantly for being fiscally responsible. I say that because they have the taxpayers in mind when we put this budget together. I provide them with the numbers, and they tell me where they want to be. So I can honestly say that, you know, with last year having a 2-cent reduction, this governing body could have said, hey, you know, we don't want to use all this surplus. We want to make the tax, you know, rate high, but they didn't. And I just want to thank you all for all of your support and what you do in terms of having the taxpayer in mind when we put these budgets together. But with that, we are currently under audit. The audit started on Tuesday, so the auditors will be here for the next so many weeks. And once the audit is complete, the governing body will receive the report, which will provide them with whatever findings we may have. It's my hopes that we don't have any findings, but you don't always have an audit where there's no findings. I think last year I got by, but this year I will honestly say because of the amount of funding that we received, and we're talking federal funding, there will be what we call a single audit. So anytime there's 700, I believe, 750,000 or more, that requires a separate audit, and they will be auditing the grant funds that we received this year. So again, I just wanted to let you all know that we are under audit and that we'll be receiving a report within the next couple of weeks or so. I know that the state did just release that they are extending the deadline. Most audits are to be completed by June 30th, but they've extended the deadline until September. So it really just depends on when the state will be able to provide the information that they need to provide for the state health benefits to be in compliance with the GASB 75 law or whatever the case. That is mine.
Thank you. Before I open to the public, I have a guest that came from Camden County, and I would like to introduce him. Gabrielle, and you can have the floor.
Great, thank you. Can everyone hear me without the microphone? Okay. Yeah? Okay. Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. My name is Carol Lasher. I'm with the Camden County Health Department. I am Director up there, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to get out to the community and just remind you of some of the services we have going on. Make sure that Lindenwold residents are availing themselves to everything that we have to offer. So I will provide, I think you mentioned something about senior services, about housing. I have a number, I'm not sure everything we have, but I have a number that they can look for eligibility. But I just want to talk a little bit about what we have going on so that if there's any opportunity that you guys can incorporate into what you're doing, or if there's a way that we can extend our services to better suit your needs, that's what we're doing. We just finished a community needs assessment, and so that is going through the entire county and looking at what the needs are in the community to make sure that we can build a plan to address those needs. So that is finishing up in the next probably 2 months. So we'll have that online where you can take a look and see how we're aiming to address the health needs in our community. Just some of the programs to remind everyone what we have. I know we were all over with COVID, but we do a number of other immunizations as well. We do free immunizations for everyone who is un- and underinsured. So even if you have insurance, but your insurance, say, doesn't cover Hep A, you can come to one of our clinics and we can provide that vaccine. Of course, that's for adults and children. We also have sexual health clinic in Belmar that provides testing, screening, and treatment for STDs, HIV. We do emergency planning, and we work with both the county OEM and local OEMs to make sure that health is involved in all of the emergency planning. We have a health education unit that goes out and does outreach in the community, and we're happy to provide any health education events the community may need. Oh, yeah. So, and that's everything from, it's really what the community wants. If it's on nutrition and healthy lifestyles, exercise, we can do that. We have programs on heart disease, chronic disease self-management, falls prevention for folks on how to move around safely to prevent falls. So a number of items. We also have a tobacco cessation specialist. I think that's one service that isn't taken advantage of enough. We can do our best to help get those cessation products, things like the patch or the gum, and also you can just, an individual that can walk you through quitting smoking or vaping or anything like that. So that's just free counseling right there. We have a housing unit, so I don't know anyone in here who's a renter, but we are very active in Lindenwold and with the support of the local government in really trying to make sure that housing is safe and healthy housing. So, and that's where we need that feedback. Exactly. Give us a call. I have a phone number. If you have a problem in a rental property, we're happy to come out there. We'll do inspections, and then we do all the hard work. We work with the landlords to make sure that the repairs are being made on a timely fashion and that you're living up to what you deserve. So I have a phone number. Give us a call and we'll get out there. Yeah, absolutely. I'll put it at the end, I'll share it up here, and we'll get out there. We have weights and measures. I don't know if anyone knows about this. I know I didn't until I got to the health department. So we go out and make sure that you're getting what you pay for. That at gas station, if you're paying for a gallon of gas, you're getting a gallon of gas. If you're paying for, when you go to the shop, ShopRite or whatever, and it has your now on sale, that's actually bringing up on sale, and that they're advertising the prices that you're paying for a pound of meat, you're getting a pound of meat. Lead, super important. Again, that's a housing environmental issue, and we have both environmental staff that do lead inspections in the homes, and then also case managed. So if a child is positive for lead in their blood, we work with the parents to make sure that they're getting all the services they need, both the immediate medical and then also any kind of long-term care that they may need to make sure that they're cognitive, they're getting the assisted resources to make sure that they're learning on track, even though with the lead exposure. For seniors, we have a wonderful senior and disabled services, and we have a number of programs there, everything from paying for and helping with in-home help, like cleaning and things like that, Meals on Wheels, and a number of other eligibility programs. A lot of fun stuff, dancing, arts and crafts, and other items like that. We have sober sports for everyone who is in recovery and looking to be social. We have a number of programs for people in recovery. I heard that you guys are looking for using your opioid settlement funds. That's really great. A lot of municipalities really haven't started tackling yet, so that's a big kudos to you guys. We right now have spent about $1.2 million of the county's allotment, doing a number of items, things that you may see are Narcan boxes. I don't know if anyone's heard of Narcan. It's a spray, it's an opioid reversal, and we're going to have them up. You'd be happy. Do you have one here? No. We can get you guys one if you want. Great, and I think we are in the Lindenwold school systems now, and what it is a spray. If someone is suffering from an opioid overdose, you can spray it, and that's, because we're seeing children be poisoned, accidental, not to mention family and loved ones, and we want to be ready to help if we can. We're working on rolling it out into our busing system. We also have a new program for school clearances. So for children who are removed from school for either what could be a threat of violence to themselves or to someone else, we know right now that's a huge issue. We're now paying for clearances, so that won't be a barrier anymore. So if you don't have insurance and you have to get your child psychologically cleared, it's hard to get back into school. And now we have that available for all residents, so their children can get cleared to go back. And more importantly than getting back in school is that they're going to talk to a child psychiatrist that can maybe address and identify some issues that we can connect them to care. We have special child health. So if you or anyone you know has a child that has any disability, everything from cognitive, from congenital, they're born with something, or autism, or anything like that, we have case managers that can make sure that the children are getting everything they need right through age of 21 to have greatest access to resources. So we have that as well. We have a new health van that we're getting. We're going to get 2 new health vans so we can do health screenings in the community, everything from lung health, blood pressure. So we just will be out and about. Those should be coming. Apparently, I don't know anything about cars, but apparently chassis are on delay, so it's been a while, but we're hoping that they'll be out by July, so we'll see more health vans out in the community. So that's just like a brief overview of some of what we do. I don't know if there's any questions. I can leave my number, and I'm going to give you all, if you have, yeah.
How is the needs assessment distributed, and what factors are considered?
It's available on our website. We've done a couple public sharings with it, and it's on the website. And we did a number of focus groups with residents. We've taken into account stakeholders, people that work with different factors of the healthcare system. We've done surveys, but we're always looking for better engagement with the public. So I can give you a phone number, and then anything you have, and then you can get involved in the process too. We're working through the planning process, and it really is reiterative and should reflect the community. Nothing for you without you. So we want to make sure that we're providing services that people need, and more importantly that they want. So it doesn't do us a lot of good if we're out selling something that no one wants to buy.
I have a question. You're saying you have the Narcan for the opioid.
Yes.
I carry Narcan because
Great.
I'm out in Camden every day. What are you doing for fentanyl or fentanyl laced with, animal stuff? Because Narcan's not going to help that.
Absolutely. So the fentanyl is, we are seeing several doses of Narcan needing to be administered to revive folks. So that is part of making sure that we have the community. All of our police carry it and are able to respond, but we want to make sure it's in the community.
Yeah, but Narcan doesn't help fentanyl. That's what I'm saying.
It's less effective, but
right.
Yeah.
And then there's the other one where you're lacing it and where your skin's coming off. What do you have for that? Nothing.
The xylazine. Right now, since xylazine is an animal tranquilizer, there is a reversible agent. There's something we can do to reverse it, but it's only been tried in animals. It's not a human drug, so that is. We have started a working group with our clinicians in the area, getting hospitals, first responders, and our treatment facilities together, and that's exactly what we're tackling is 2-part. What do we do to make sure that clinicians and folks know what to do when a person is overdosing? That is very likely that this new tranquilizer xylazine is in it. And then 2, addressing the wounds that you mentioned. It's creating necrotizing wounds, not just at injection sites, but throughout the body. So even if it's ingested through another route, we're seeing these really devastating wounds. We're doing several, I think 3 is several, up to 3 amputations monthly in our local hospitals as people are losing limbs from doing these drugs. We are providing fentanyl test strips and teaching individuals who are at high risk and who are using how to use fentanyl test strips so they can test their products. And we are distributing those in the community. We've bought xylazine test strips as well that will test the product for xylazine. However, right now we're waiting for clearance from the Attorney General's office. They're considering that, unfortunately, paraphernalia at this time. So as soon as we get that all clear on being able to distribute, we'll have that as well. We are going to different areas in the community, being all of Camden County. We are most heavily targeting in high drug trafficking areas, such as Camden City right now. But if anyone here has a place where that would be an appropriate outreach, we'd be happy to come out. We're providing wound care kits with things like gauze and cleaning products, and our nurses are out working with these individuals with these really infected wounds, often providing wound care kits, referrals to wound specialists, and we're doing our best to get the word out. So great point, and if you see a place where we can fit in the community or you have a need, we're taking great ideas, so we'll be happy to.
At the speed line. At the speed line.
Actually, I should put that down, it should be out there.
Thank you.
Any other?
I have one more question. First, thank you for coming. Very valuable information that you've shared with us tonight. Was wondering if your department, with some of the outreach needs and events, immunization screenings, and other educational sessions that you guys host, would you be willing to host some of those events at our local community center?
Love to.
Great.
Absolutely love to.
So we work with Borough Council to make that happen. We would love that.
Well, we have something in the works that we're...
I know, but the more the merrier. There's a wide open calendar that we could fill with lots of activities. So thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Yes.
And real quick phone number, everyone ready?
Yeah.
We're kimcounty.com, we're on there. This is to our health educator and she's coordinator. I'm giving this number because if it's something we don't do at the county, she will work tirelessly to make sure she finds who will provide this resource. Her name is Lynn. It's 856-374-6363. And she's been working really hard to make sure we're in every council meeting. So just tell her that you saw me here and she'll be so tickled because she's really passionate for this. Her name is Lynn. And do you have that phone number?
Lynn or Gwen?
Lynn? Lynn with an L. Lynn Brosner? For anyone who Nathan.
You're Lynn?
I'm not. I'm Carrie L.
Thank you, Carrie.
But Lynn, I mean, I'd be happy to help as well, but Lynn will.
You said Creek from the health department?
Yes.
Okay, I'm a resident of the town of Lindenwold. And the health department has been out there several times because we have a lot of mice out there and...
Mrs. Porter, we're not at that point yet, okay? Hold on to your...
If you want, you can give me a call or I can catch you after.
Yeah.
If that would be good for everyone's time.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good seeing you.
Yes.
All right, at this time, we're open meeting to the public. We're going to do it a little differently this time. Council has decided we want to answer questions as you bring them up. Unfortunately, what we are going to do is we are going to keep to a strict 5-minute policy. 5 minutes is up, your time is up, okay? But we are going to answer your questions as you speak. So anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and have that.
Right, I'm starting.
Hi, good evening. Ready?
Ready.
Good evening, my name is Roxanne Berger. I live at 811 Myrtle Avenue, and it's a pleasure to be here. I'm happy that I got to hear the budget and what's going on and all the great things that are happening in Lindenwold. Once again, I'm in front of you to talk about the needs of the community, the needs for screenings, the needs for to have our citizens actively participate in them. And one of the things that you know that could be an issue, especially in Lindenwold being a transient community, is transportation. So even though you do offer those type of services out in other communities, we have a community center that's underutilized and could be used for things. And we could collaborate together, because I also work at Cooper Hospital. I am the survivorship coordinator, but I also work with the SEED program with outreach and prevention. One of the things that I did note, and I won't bore you again with all the numbers, is that our numbers compared to the state and county, some of them are very poor. 15% of citizens are underinsured in our county. So there are a lot of services that are available to the citizens and residents. And I just wanted to say that having access to a community center that is engaged with various activities, not only healthcare screenings, but once I mentioned cultural activities, job training, seminars, we could be utilizing this space for. I realize that it's almost 40 years old. I have not been in there recently. I don't know if it needs improvements, but that's something that needs to be looked at to have our citizens have more access to that facility. So I thought it was right on time and appropriate that you were here today. I appreciate you coming, and I appreciate the information that you made available to us. I just wanted to touch on also about the community center providing an outlet for our youth. Our youth face many problems, as we know. Won't bore you with the numbers, but our youth are increased obesity, mental health issues, and smoking. I am also a treatment specialist, so if you need counseling, you have one that's right in Lindenwold that could do possible programs at the community center. I just want to emphasize that we have a piece of property that we are paying to upkeep that's not being utilized. My question is, one, what plans do we have to increase access to our community center? Two, I mentioned, has it been updated? And three, how do we decrease the cost of the usage for our citizens that want to use it for private events? Thank you.
1.3.
How much?
Yeah, 1.38 minutes left.
Okay. Oh, I got another minute then?
Anyone else would love to wish to speak?
Well, it was the upkeep and the use and the upkeep will maintain.
So on the maintenance of the building is maintained, it is kept up. I mean, it's not like, you know, the top of the hall or anything, but it's well maintained, and it's, yeah, and Dawn's sorority sisters, they used to do a senior citizens luncheon, and they would have games and things for the seniors to play. They donated a flat screen television to the center, so it has been upkeep. Yeah, you've been in there before, Roxanne, right? It has a small kitchen.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, had it been updated? I just haven't been in there. I know for a fact it's at least 36 years old because it's close to 40 years old. Yes, it's close to 40 years old.
And in terms of the use, I think we're still visiting the use and the insurance things and all of that stuff, right? To try to see, and definitely to see if that the cost could be reduced for Lindenwold residents, the use of Lindenwold residents. You and I talked about using it for some healthcare things, and we haven't been approached by anybody that wants to do like a job training or anything like that in the community. If someone comes forward,
We usually do it here.
yeah, they do it here. Like if someone comes forward and want to use it, we'll definitely review, you know, what they want to do and see if it makes sense to do it there or not.
How will the people know if they don't know?
How would the people? Usually people who know. They'll come.
After being told no for 8 years, it's a little tough for us to all of a sudden know that it's open.
Okay, but this is what we want to do. We want to go back to one person.
Until the close of public commentary.
It's too difficult to try to manage 4 or 5 conversations. I mean, you know that as a person.
Be truthful.
It's hard to manage it. And up here, the sound travels differently, so I don't know who's saying what. I'm just going to try to answer the questions that Ms. Roxanne, asked. That's what we're addressing right now.
Right, at the close of public commentary.
I'm sorry? Did we close out?
No, we're not.
No, we're not close out.
No, but the council is not to respond.
No, we're not. We're not changing it. We're not doing it.
Oh, they changed it.
Right. The mayor opened up with that and said that we're doing a different format tonight. So what we're trying to do is to only engage with the person who asked the question. It makes it a lot easier to talk. You can't talk to 5 people. I know I can't. So Ms. Roxanne, I'm back to you. If anyone wants to use it, I think that we would listen and hear what they want to use it for, the time that they want to use it, and those type of things. We hear you. We know you want the center opened up for different events. I think everybody on here gets that loud and clear, that they want the center open up. We're trying to work with the fees and things to come up with something that makes sense, because we do have to have someone there doing whatever festivity someone has there, just to be prudent in our government and to make sure that it's safe. So we are working on that. And
some of the programs that she
they sound great, right?
I can see council approving them to be done, and probably at no cost,
right.
but there's gonna have to be somebody that's gonna be responsible for what's going on. Right. But to have birthday parties and things like that, those fees belong there.
Yeah, the birthday, well, there's a use for that, cleaning and the staff that we have to have. But definitely if someone wanted to do a job training, or like you said, there's smoking, no smoking, helping to end smoking, or whatever it is, if someone wanted to do something like that, and they approached us, I don't think that would be an issue. Yeah.
One more question in referral to that. So I had an idea when it came to the job training. I remember a few years ago you had a local social of the business owners. Wouldn't it be nice that those jobs be filled by Lindenwold?
Well, that's the goal.
That could be an idea to use for the local businesses to have a job fair.
Yeah, the job fair is definitely one of the things that we're talking about, yes.
Hi, my name is Sarah Miller.
Sarah, it started.
Timber Creek Road. It started? Okay,
yep.
Great. My first note is just to make council, mayor, administrator aware that the 2023 ordinances are posted through 2023-08, but 2023-09 through 14 are not yet posted. So I'm sure I'll have more questions about the Timber Creek Title 39 once I have a chance to read that ordinance. For Walter, I have a quick question. We said the funds are going to be used for education and prevention. Can you clarify on prevention what?
That depends on what program they want to talk about. They were talking about having a seminar at the auditorium, but they haven't got back to us yet. But it has to be used for either education or prevention, one or the other.
Okay, so like bully prevention, drug prevention.
Those programs.
Okay, got you. All right. Where can I read the 3-year cooperation agreement with the county of Camden? Resolution 2023-121. I did some Googling and I see that surrounding municipalities are adopting their identical resolutions regarding the 3-year cooperation agreement with the county of Camden, but I can't find any details on what that 3-year agreement is, what the county of Camden's plan entails. That would be useful.
Purchasing papers and things like that.
Oh, no, yeah.
Right, but where can I read it?
Is that enough?
Debbie sent out which one was it? I'm sorry. Is it 2023, 123? Which one are you referring to? I'm sorry, Ms. Miller.
In the spirit of expedience and not using up all my time awaiting responses, I'm going to move on.
Oh, I can give you a copy of it. Give me the number. That's why I wanted to know.
Oh, we can get them after my 5 minutes because again, I have other things to cover. So back to the traffic studies, I appreciate that there's some attention being paid to Laurel Road, but that still does not answer the question. Where are the traffic studies? And why does the borough clerk state that there are no traffic studies on record while the mayor states that there have been traffic studies
There should
performed?
be a traffic study done, and have to go back to the county to find out where it went. But the county redid that road. In order for them to redo that road, they have to do a traffic study.
And the county has said repeatedly that it's the municipality's responsibility to perform the traffic study.
Not when they redo the road.
Okay, well, then can you pick up that conversation with the county? Because I'm not going to get anywhere as a resident.
Yeah, and it could be in the DOT as well.
Okay,
They don't have any.
but I do have, as appreciative as I am of the flashing radar light, I do have concerns because that intersection is on a rise and a turn. So drivers approaching are not going to see a flashing light at the intersection until they're at the intersection. And the way the road is designed, coming from both directions, there's a straightaway before the curve. So you have vehicles accelerating to get around that curve and up the hill, and then all of a sudden there's a crosswalk. So it's a good first step, but we really need to understand what traffic studies have been done and what are the next steps that need to be taken, because it's a real risk to our community and our children especially. Finally, I want to talk about I'm happy to see that the police department is beginning to work with surrounding police departments like Pine Hill to begin exploring the mutual aid model of community policing. I still have no idea what the community policing counts mean. Like, we have this number of community policing, but what does that mean? No one has been able to explain that to me yet. But what I'm really concerned about is that there is no oversight in our police department. When a person wants to file a complaint with internal affairs, they are met with obstruction after obstruction. Now, it's common rhetoric. There is anecdotal evidence after anecdotal evidence of poor interactions with Lindenwold Police Department members of the Lindenwold Police Department. But whenever someone summons the courage to file a complaint with internal affairs, they are met with, one time I timed it, 7 minutes of conversation asking me if I was sure I didn't just want to make peace with the officer. The Attorney General's instructions for responding to internal affairs complaints, the very first step is any complaint must be immediately accepted and reported. So why does Lindenwold Police Department put so much effort into deterring residents from filing complaints? That's your responsibility, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Yes, ma'am.
I was here at the last meeting.
Name and address, I'm sorry, first, please.
It's better?
Name and address first.
Name, right again?
Well,
State My name is Zero White, and I'm at, in the landing, Pine Lake Landing. Apartments.
Thank you.
I'm in the sort of situation that she's in. I don't have a problem with anything in certain, like what I'm talking about, but the police protection, I got a problem with that because it seems like not this area, but where the landings is at, off of Ginsborough Road. I'd like to know what the crime rate is in that area. Is it higher in that area than the last time I was here? You guys told me you live in Lindenwold, but you're in the homeless, right? Do you live in Lindenwold, or do you just?
No, we have to live in Lindenwold. We're elected officials. We have to.
Okay, well, what I'm saying, what area? Because if you live in the apartment complexes, they're not as safe as we do.
I live right behind your apartment complex.
Pardon me?
I live right behind your apartment complex.
What, you don't get police cars up and down all over every other night or every night? It's unbelievable. There was a carjacking right where the train overpass about a month ago, I think, or a month and a half ago, right at the gas station on the corner with a gun, and the guy got shot. But we don't get any notices, we don't know anything about people. You walk in front of someone, and they tell you. And a lot of people around here don't know it, so if they're doing some kind of crime against the neighborhood, or the neighbors, the people who live in this area, we need to know where to stand on guard. So, I don't know if you can send out flyers when you get something that serious, because the person was shot, and they went to the hospital, it was right on the gas station on the corner down there.
He worked here. He was a worker.
He used to work here?
He was a worker that worked here.
Yeah, well, you know, I think the area should be notified that you need to watch out and be a little bit quick. And maybe I'm the wrong person or who to go to, or, but I would have never known. And I'm a single woman. I could have been coming home from somewhere, stopped at the gas station that night. I need to be aware of my surroundings. So that's number one question. I just want to know, is our area in Lindenwold, around that area where you said, who lives there? You live there. Is that a high rate area of crime now?
It used to be, it's not anymore.
Well, I don't know about that because I hear fire trucks and police cars almost every other night.
So they can go off the pipe or inside your development?
No, just going up and down the pipe, up down the
Yeah,
pipe.
you go anywhere.
I mean, all.
They could be traffic stops, they could be,
Well,
they could be
it's
going to the hospital,
really
they
more
could
than
be a
that.
fire, they could be, somebody needs help getting out of their basement.
Well, where see the numbers? In what areas?
If you reach,
How do we get
Linda
that?
read the numbers tonight. Linda read the report tonight.
Oh, in the areas that they have the crime in?
It's not
The highest
the
crime?
average, it's the whole county.
So there has to be
council
certain
for
sections, because if you live in an apartment complex, they're very close together. The surroundings.
I'm gonna win the primary
If
anyway.
you have a house that's different, it's, oh, you know, what I'm trying to say, we don't see it, we can hear it, we don't see it, but it's around us somewhere. And it's like, so, I don't know if anybody here is in that.
They should be doing it
but
together.
You can hear a lot of police cars and stuff like that.
If
And
you wish,
fire trucks.
if you wish, you can reach out to the local police department anytime you want.
Okay, I'll do that.
And ask them for the information that you're trying to get.
Okay, another thing I wanted to bring up, I wanted to also, I'm not here for this water runs case. I'm here to thank you also. And I'm here to thank you because I think it was April 15th, you cleaned up that area that I was here complaining about. You did a great job. Unfortunately, if we had more police cruising around these apartment complexes, the crime might go down a little. I know we might be short of police, I don't know. But the crime would be a little bit lower because with the carjacking situation and the area you just cleaned. Someone just threw a big old green trash bag on that area all over again. So, I mean, this is constant. That area around the landings and all up and down Gibsboro Road, it's not as safe as you think it is. I think if they had more seen of policemen driving around a little bit more, not stopping people, just being seen or parked somewhere, we could put the crime down a little bit more because the people that are doing this, they don't see anybody, they don't care. So that's another one. Also,
You're at 8 seconds.
I have 8 seconds left?
Yeah.
Okay, when you talk about the water, when you do an inspection of one apartment, do they check the water to see if it has lead in it?
No.
They don't. So that's the tenant's responsibility, right?
No, that, you can call one company, they'll check out the
Okay, all right. Because like last time I was here, I mentioned something about the fireplace, and I haven't heard anything yet. No one's coming around and checking the fireplace.
I thought Wayne got in contact with you at your apartment. Wayne and Tyler came over to the apartment to inspect.
Yeah, they came over here.
Did you mention the fireplace to them?
Oh, yeah, I mentioned it here too.
Well, they're the ones that do the inspection, I don't do the inspection. So
Yeah.
I'll follow up with them.
But that's just not my apartment. I think it's like 3 or 5 apartments over there. They all need to check.
All right, well, you're at your time, sadly. There was something that, so about the cameras.
Just to let you know, Gibsboro Road now has high definition cameras up and down Gibsboro Road. And it does monitor all of those, that whole stretch from the bridge all the way out down to this line.
Right, now that's good that you're good at monitoring it. But if we even get 2 empty police cars, if you don't even have cops, just have them parked so you're being seen. Because the crime has changed. I mean, it's all over the United States, but I mean, over there, it's not like you have your home, you got your security system. We don't have any security over there. Nobody cruises around here.
Your apartment complex doesn't have cameras? I'll have to check, but I thought they did.
I don't see.
Most of them do now.
Well, no one has place like that. And
Good.
that's it, Mom.
Trying to come in under the radar over there.
I just had one thing on a positive note, to support the police. Oh, I'm sorry, Myrtle Johnson, again, I'm at the landing also. And that area that you did clean up, nice job. The grass is going up, and then you cut it, it's going to be up again. But it's really, really a good job, and we thank you for that. But
You can thank Trevor Shaw for that, he's the one who did that.
thank you so much, God bless you.
You got it.
And but the thing is, it's not your fault, it's the people that are throwing trash. It's not you, you guys did a great job. Just you said, you go by there tonight and there is a trash bag, and that shouldn't be. And it's not your fault, it's the community and it's the mindset that has to be changed. I just want to say before I leave tonight, thank you guys for this meeting, but I want to say on a good note, there was a resident in our community, in our little town, she got lost. I think it was early in the morning, I don't know, she was a little dementia or whatever, but the senior care went to pick her up, and she wasn't home. I don't know the details, but she was missing. And the police, we wrote a letter to the mayor, I think we wrote to the police department. What a fantastic job. Because I took her as my mom. My mother died when she was 35 and I was just 10. But She was someone's mother. And I mean, they were Johnny on his spot. I've never seen so many police, so many detectives. I mean, they're going door to door. They even had the drones. I said, what is that? I thought they had guns out in the street because when we saw these trucks, and I didn't know what they were, and all these things. I said, oh my God, somebody's got a truckload of guns around here. But they were putting up drones, and they were going around the buildings. I just came tonight to say also, thank you. And we thank them. But you know, a lot of people don't look at the good things and remember that there are people that's doing right. They're doing a good job, and I would like to applaud them tonight. We came tonight too to see you honor some of them, and I would like to applaud them tonight.
You know that our Lindenwold Fire Department has a special team that they put together. There's probably 6 or 7 members of the fire department. They go throughout practically the whole state of New Jersey now.
The fire department, police,
and the police are part of it.
they had everybody out there, even the neighbors. They were going door to door, and they found her. I think they found her over by Wawa, and I kept feeling that she said Wawa, but I thought it was the Wawa in White House Pike. She was at the Wawa over at the Lindenwold speed line. And how she walked, whatever happened, the bottom line is, thank God they found her. They didn't find her in the lake. She wasn't dead. Thank God they found her and she was
And some additional information for you, the Camden County Sheriff's Department offers a tracking system that you can get for your parent or your loved one that may be suffering from dementia. And it's something that if they go missing, they're able to triangulate the area to find out where they're at. So she may be a great candidate for that.
See, I don't even know her. I don't even know, I know Martha know her.
Okay.
All of the
Or if you know someone that's close enough to her, just ask them to contact the Camden County Sheriff's Department in Camden and ask them about their alert system.
Okay, because I was just glad they found her, and I thank you for that. I will tell them.
Hello, Heather Greco, 29 West Maple Avenue. Dawn, thank you so much for all of your help, all the time. And I'm just so tired of bugging you, and this is an issue that's much bigger than what we've been dealing with. So quick update, 20 West Maple went for sheriff's sale 4/26, 13 calendar days have passed, 10 business days have passed, the right redemption period's over. I've had police out already once, there's been squatters in there, the grass is up to the knees, and the second floor is falling into the first floor. It's an extremely dangerous hazard. So just so you know, it's finally done and over with. The bank has taken possession of the property. So if we could kind of follow up with them and see what they could do, I would greatly appreciate it. 33 West Maple Avenue. They're operating a business on the property. I don't know if there's variance. I don't really care what people do with their property. I have a problem with 18-wheelers making big deliveries multiple times a week. Pepsi shows up, McLean shows up. I work from home 3 days a week. Not that it's a big deal, but I don't need tractor trailers and I can't even open up my windows. That's going to be 33 West Maple. 33 West Maple. They have a pole barn in the back. They own a vending company, and they're using that pole barn for storage, but they're receiving all of their deliveries via 18-wheeler, and that's just not okay. They're blocking driveways. Thank you. Lastly, 40 West Maple Avenue. Oh yeah, I'm like a little advocate. So it's a rental with very high drug activity. They are on a first-name basis with the Lindenwold police because they're all in and out of jail. I've had Lindenwold out there multiple times. He has threatened to kill the senior citizen that lives next to them, Mary Ann. She's terrified and she's afraid to even speak against them. When my husband pulled up on their drug deal and let them know he's a retired police officer and asked them to take their drug dealing elsewhere, they threatened to kill him. So we again had the police out. The police were out 2 weeks ago when he was laying in the street fixing cars. He's now advertising that he's offering to fix cars on this property. There's people living in the basement. Let's see what else we have. Last week they drugged a guy out of there who was completely intoxicated, could not stand, and stuck him in the van of an MD cleaning company because they tend to party at the house as well. MD Cleaning's in Laurel Springs. Also, they have their dog off leash. As you guys know, I foster, so I have dogs in and out of my house. Fosters for small rescues, animal shelters, their dog is constantly off leash. It's very aggressive. If one of my fosters gets hurt, I am financially responsible because they're with me. So their medical for illnesses is covered by the organization. However, if a dog's attacked, that's on me. So it's a serious concern because, like I said, there's multiple people living there, they're drug addicts. All the drug dealing is taking place there. Car repair business, there was a domestic violence incident. I called the police out there. I could hear bodies sitting in the wall. My cameras picked it up. They denied it was happening. I went as far as to pull the deed and go to the business that the LLC rental is listed to, and they're denying that they own the property. So I'm at my wit's end, and before someone gets hurt or more stupid decisions get made, if we could start working on that property, I would greatly appreciate it.
40 West Main goes.
40 West Main.
This is a situation that could be in.
Yeah, definitely. And you said it's a rental? too?
Yes.
Okay.
They just recently put the rental sticker on there.
Rental, yeah, okay.
They have the sticker on there, but the two occupants are known to Lindenwold Police very well. To the degree that we didn't know their names when we called them when he threatened to kill my husband, and they said, don't worry, we know their names. So it's getting pretty scary, and Mary Ann next to them, where the infamous tree was, she's 70-something years old, she has cancer, she lives by herself. They're torturing her. She washed her car, they took the leaf blower out and blew leaves all over her car that she was washing. They cut her trees down. They light fires in their backyard. Wayne should be aware of all this because he tries to work with Wayne on this, and it's fallen short.
So it's 20, 33, and 40.
40 is my rental, 33 is my tractor trailer issue, and 20 is our vacant squatter house.
But now, that's good, because now that it's foreclosed here, so there'll be a property maintenance company that'll be responsible.
We've been stalking, looking for them, because we're going to grab them.
I get that information. They have to report it with the foreclosure. It's the last page of the foreclosure that tells who the property maintenance people are that are responsible for this property, so we can find that information.
Last I heard, the back door was kicked in when the police were there, when they had to make sure there was no squatters left in there. The real estate agent who had the house listed for the former owner was supposed to remedy it. I don't know that she actually did.
Yeah, there was an email going back and forth with that, so I'll follow up with that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That's all I have, guys. Thanks.
I know, I live right across the street.
Last meeting, you said that we had seen
$8,000 a year in taxes.
With the ordinances, I can't find anything.
It's not, next month it'll be done.
Okay, but this brings me to this. How often do you, council, solicitor, go through your ordinances? Because I have one here, 229-1A. Appearing in the street in clothing not belonging to his or her sex. So are you saying, I'm a woman who works in the man industry. I wear men's clothes every day, a hard hat, vest and boots. I can get a violation. If I'm gay or lesbian or transgender or a drag queen, or binary or whatever anybody wants to identify as today, you're going to get a violation because we have an ordinance that says you can't dress in the other opposite sex clothes. This says Strapoli all over it because he was racist. So I'm assuming he wrote this. No one did anything. Hold on.
You're going to be.
No, let me finish. Let me finish. Which also brings me to this one. No injuring to a dumb animal. What is a dumb animal? The last two council meetings, it was a vicious dog, but they couldn't identify vicious. They just assumed my dogs were vicious. So what is a dumb animal? Why do we classify stuff? I can go right along here and classify everyone. New does nothing but bring wild walk or photo ops. Linda, you miss half your stuff. Cheryl, you go crazy at times and just walk off. Yeah, I can go right here and label people like you're labeling animals.
We're not going to do that.
Why are you labeling stuff?
We're not doing that. That's what we're not
Well, why are we labeling stuff?
You're attacking, and that's not right.
I'm just saying, Dave assumes, why can't I assume?
We're not doing that.
Anyone else in the public wish to
I don't know what is a dumb animal, and why are you saying,
So if you want to ask,
why is it being classified as dumb?
Sure.
That's what I'm saying, you can't answer them.
Thank you, Shirley.
Here, clear that for me. And I walk off. Okay, that's all you got on me. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, right?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Trevor Shaw, 805 Norcross. I'm going to start with thanks for questions, but the thanks, I guess, I'll start with on the cleanup. It was our biggest one yet. We had over 115 people sign up. Over 85 showed up to help clean up. We filled a 30-yard dumpster in less than 2 hours. I want to offer some thanks to the Lindenwold Public Works Department, the community at large, first and foremost, for coming out, the fire department. Hold on, I'll get my notes here somewhere. La Speranza as well. They provided delicious lunch. We got more compliments on that lunch than any of the last 5 years. Robinson, the company that provided the dumpster, certainly thank for them. They made special arrangements to get it out of there right after the cleanup. There was a fear that if we left it there for the rest of the weekend, that it would get popped off. So they pulled it out of there by 1 o'clock on the cleanup day. Also want to thank a few members of council who were able to make it. We certainly appreciated the support. In the same vein, along the lines of cleanup, we've now teamed up with South Jersey Land and Water Trust to host another cleanup this Saturday, the Saturday before Mother's Day. It will be on Pine Lawn Avenue, which you know this is close to home for some of you. That's going to be Saturday from 10 to 12. It's going to be at the end of Pine Lawn Avenue. Primarily conducted by, as I say, South Jersey Land and Water Trust. They're going to be leading the cleanup. We simply teamed up and partnered up to help provide some staff. Back in where they found homeless people last year.
This year too.
Yeah. Pine Lawn Avenue.
Where I live.
Yeah, Pine Lawn and Berlin Road. If you take Pine Lawn down, it hooks around to the left of the cul-de-sac. We'll be staging our team there and going into the woods. For about 2 hours of the cleanup, all supplies will be provided, gloves, trash bags, pickers, whatnot. There's also going to be a wildflower tour provided by the leadership of South Jersey Land and Water Trust. As part of that, we've been told that there's wild orchids growing in those woods, which we didn't know about, but we're kind of excited to go to the city and be told a little bit about. So thank you for everyone that's been involved with our cleanups for the last 5 years and for our future cleanups.
While you're at that, I
Yes.
will reach out to the county, because that's all county property now. So
Okay.
just let them know that you guys are going to be out there doing it.
Okay, I will certainly do that. I'll let South Jersey Land and Water Trust know. They're the ones, as I say, they're the ones leading. We've just kind of teamed up to help provide some extra manpower, but I'll certainly reach out to their contacts there.
Just to, say, hey, we're doing this.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea, and we certainly will. I'll back up a second to apologize for my outburst a little while ago about the community center. I certainly apologize. It's an ongoing frustration that our community center isn't much of community or center, and I understand that you guys are working towards making that so, and we're certainly hopeful that having individuals like Roxanne and you come out and talk about some of the programming that we could be having hosted at that location is certainly worthwhile, and we look forward to that. So we're hopeful. I was wondering if you could provide a couple of examples on Resolution 2023-121, specifically where it says, available to Camden County for use on the top of the page. Available to Camden County for use to carry out eligible community development activities therein. Could you provide some examples of what eligible community development activities would be? The type of activities that would be?
The movies in the park, the concerts, but not primarily that stuff, it's mostly paper and staples and office supplies, right? I mean,
Yeah. That the county provides assistance to residents who are improving their houses.
That qualifies
Those
for the program.
funds. It's a standard agreement that we have to.
And while funds last.
Okay, but it's homeowner improvements, if I'm understanding you correctly? Okay, so it's like, I'm sorry, it's like Comfort Partners, is that?
It's like, my uncle had his, 30-some years ago, he had his heating converted from oil to gas. You do pay it eventually when you sell the property, but it's something that they help you out with. And you have to qualify for income levels and things like that. So he was a senior citizen, so he qualified for it.
Fair enough. I think We're up to the question about, and you can follow up with me, Don, on this. We have a question about the cost of the dog park. We understand it was paid for with the ARP funds. We had a question as to what the cost was. As I say, probably not a number off the top of your head, but you can follow up with me if you'd like. And then on
It was
the...
about 30-some thousand, but I can give you the exact number, because there's still remaining funds, which is why in the presentation I indicated that there would be additional enhancements.
Right.
So I know he wants to do some, maybe some doggy slides or whatever the case. So, but I'll be able to give you the exact.
Okay, cool. And then on the basketball court, we know that's come up a bunch of times. Something else we're very excited about, and is there any indication as of yet? I know Cheryl and I talked about this. Is there any timing associated with that project yet?
It's a matter of having a discussion with Craig, because I know he indicated that he's having some difficult time trying to get contractors.
Right.
Well, are we going to try to push for the summer?
So we'll work on it.
Because we like to have a mural painted on there as well, so we have to get it resurfaced first before that can happen. So.
Okay, as I mentioned, we're hooked up with South Bay Mural Arts, so we have a number of artists, both professional
And we talked about the Idea
to
Center as well.
help provide.
Yeah, so we'll get that going. We got to get it resurfaced first, though.
Yes, but he did, I do know that Craig said he was having a hard time just getting contractors to look at it, so we're working on it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the cleanup.
Oh my God, that was on my list. It was on my list. Thank you so much for both of them on both ends of the road, and not only that road, but we've seen some improvements, some painting stripes and knockout boxes and stuff. So we're watching and we appreciate it. Thank you.
And Trevor, thanks for the cleanup on Pine Lawn. I'll be in DC this weekend, so I will not be able to join you guys, but thank you for thinking about Pine Lawn and the lake area down there.
Anyone else?
You're more than welcome. Anyone who's welcome to come out. Pine Lawn Saturday.
I have a minute left.
She said, I got what I'm saying. I got a minute left.
The one thing that I appreciate is the opportunity for you to finally interact, and I understand that sometimes tempers can get flared, and but I think that if things were addressed in a certain way, then maybe we could get answers. So I was concerned about some issues that were brought up. It was the manner that they were brought up, that nothing's going to get done, and I'm about action. I'm not about calling names, I'm about action. So if these ordinances are still on the books, do we have somebody assigned to look at the ordinances and to go over and maybe rectify and nullify certain ordinances that apparently are years and years old? It's just a suggestion that maybe that be looked at. Thank you.
Anyone else in the public? Seeing none, close the meeting to the public, and entertain a motion for adjournment.
You can only talk once anyway.